Wrapping up episode 346 of Chair Shot Reality, your number one procrastination tool on the internet. Justin LeBar at Real Britt Baker.
Hey.
It has been a long time, at least a year and a half since we've had her on the show. A lot has happened.
A little bit has happened.
I mean, like you're like going and doing Global Force Wrestling, you're doing Ring of Honor Wrestling. You got squashed by Nia Jax here in Pittsburgh.
Once.
How was that?
So that was an experience. You were there.
I was there.
I was bleeding. One of the first.
Which was not planned.
Was not planned,
Yeah.
and there's no backstage Nia Jax heat. There's like that was like on all the rumor sites that there's heat.
Was it really?
Oh my gosh, it was like local talent in Nia Jax heat. I don't know what it was. All these people are tweeting at me, but
I didn't start that
not
rumor.
true.
It was not me.
Well, I figured it was.
It wasn't me.
No.
I'm responsible for everything else. But that was cool.
That was an awesome experience because that was Nia Jax's debut.
Right. It was the first Raw of the brand split.
First Raw of the brand split. So it was, nerve-wracking, but cool.
So you did that, obviously, Ring of Honor, Global Force, IWC Wrestling. So for those of you who are not familiar with IWC Wrestling, International Wrestling Cartel, been around for over 15 years. I mean, the first ever women's title. Now, they've had the Super Indy title, which is famous, Super Indy tournament. They've had the IWC World title. My client, Wardlow, just won. I'm talking CM Punk, Colt Cabana, Tommy Dreamer, Rhino, a great long list of history there. And they've never had a women's championship until now. Until Britt Baker.
Here, I'll take it.
You go ahead and hold that thing. Shine
Here
it
is.
You won a fatal
beautiful.
four-way?
I did, against Marty Bell, Serafini, and Sonya Strong out of New York. Mm-hmm. So we had a great match, but we had a fun time. We got a little hardcore.
I know, tables.
We were doing dives and breaking tables, but it was.
Now you and I don't often. I cannot often talk serious with Britt because that's just not her style. But I want to try to get serious with you for 1 second.
Okay.
You started training at the IWC Wrestling Academy. That was.
I did.
You trained a lot of places, but that was the first of where you started training.
Under Super Hentai and Marshall the Bull.
Right, and you had your first match at IWC.
Correct.
So it's got to be kind of poetic that you get your first title and their first women's title.
It was the first women's title. Kind of. I don't really get soft too often, but that really was a cool moment. When Plummer walked out,
SOFT or SAWFT?
Both. So when Plummer walked out with the title, it was kind of like I definitely got goosebumps, and just the crowd. The crowd was huge. It was our biggest crowd.
It was.
Like
I think it even topped House of Hardcore.
I think it did top House of Hardcore. Sorry, Tommy, but.
It's no disrespect to Tommy.
No, we love
House
Tommy.
of Hardcore was a great show.
No, it was, but it was a cool because there were really no big names on that card. Like,
a certain Chris Jericho, I think, was watching the match too.
He heard there was a women's title match, and he was like, "I gotta check out this women's title match." But
just to warm him up for the world title match of Wardlow.
Oh.
No, it was good though.
It was a really cool experience. My parents were there. My parents had never seen me wrestle live before, so that was.
Well, if you want
awesome.
If you want a chance to see Britt, obviously you can follow on Twitter at Real Britt Baker. She has a fight coming up at the end of December in Cleveland.
What a
against former WWE superstar Hornswoggle.
I do.
So think about that for a minute. She'll be back here.
Like Hornswoggle. Like that's who I have to wrestle. So
she'll be back here in Pittsburgh, in Elizabeth specifically for the Reloaded button for IWC Wrestling. Which, if you wonder what that is, it's basically. You're going to know that Britt's there. You're going to know a lot of other talents there. They're going to hit a button, and it's going to randomly make the matches. So we assume, we'll find out what the button has to offer on January 21st, that Britt Baker is going to be defending her women's title, again, in Elizabeth, PA, IWCWrestling.com, and, of course, AIW Wrestling as well on December 30th?
December 30th.
December 30th in Cleveland. If you haven't checked out an AIW show, I suggest you do so if you're in the Cleveland area. Very fun time, her versus Hornswoggle. A lot of other talent. All right, let's get into some fun here. Let's get into some questions.
Oh, no.
Now, we have people tweeting, but I don't even know if we have enough time to even get to the tweets. I don't even know, because they're not necessarily censored. So we'll just we'll see if they can load fast enough. But we'll go into a 12-pack of questions here at least. All right.
Okay.
How old were you when you started watching wrestling?
Okay, that's funny you said that because one of my friends from first grade who was just at the show was telling everybody how when we were in first grade, I would get her in headlocks and she would be like, Britt, I don't want to play wrestling. And I'd be like, no, you're playing wrestling. We're playing. And I would like bully her. And I was like, I don't even remember that. But
well, you grew up a family of boys, right?
Well, so all my cousins are boys. The family that like babysat me, there was 4 boys in that family. So I've always been surrounded by boys. And apparently I bullied the only girlfriends that I did have.
All right, so now that you're the Britt Baker, the IWC Women's Champion, all those boys you grew up with, which boy do you know that you can kick their ass? Hopefully they're watching. Which one do you know that you would take them, or all of them?
I would say all of them. I could probably tie any of them in a knot.
Wow. All right, growing up, favorite match that you loved watching or that inspired you?
See, you say growing up, but I always.
Well, even now.
Anytime anyone asks this question, I always say like the big like, wow, this is like cool women's wrestling was the Natalya and Charlotte match at NXT Takeover.
Okay.
For me, that's where I was just like, okay. That's when I was training still, and
that makes sense.
It was like that one really like hit close to home.
All right, when you're working out in the gym, favorite song on the playlist to work out to?
Oh man, see, I have an old heart, so I like the '80s rock stuff. I love Boston, Peace of Mind. I like
everything. Just listening to Peace of Mind as I go.
I like Guns N' Roses, Def Leppard, Iron Maiden. I'm like a big nerd, so.
Which that fits because your entrance song to IWC is a mix. It's
Iron Man and Taylor Swift, which like why not? Why not? Who doesn't mix Iron Man and Taylor Swift?
All right, favorite food.
Fit nachos.
The favorite food you shouldn't have?
Everything. No, ice cream. We can't keep ice cream in the house because I'll sit there and eat the whole thing until it's gone.
Britt Baker's pet peeve with society. Like, what's something somebody does? You just.
Oh my gosh, there's so many things. No, I'm just kidding. So when I'm riding the bus to school in the morning, it's like my peace and quiet time. When there's a whole bus and then someone sits right next to you.
When they have more room.
Right, and it's like we both have our headphones on.
They're just creeping.
I know, but we both have our headphones on, so we're not going to have a conversation anyway.
Creeping. They want to sit next to the IWC World Champ.
We have
to actually time out on the questions. You said going to school. For those that don't know, you're getting your graduate degree.
I'm going to be a dentist. Like not a dental assistant, not a dental hygienist. That's like 6 years of school plus that. So we need to straighten that out because Joe Dombrowski just said that on commentary too.
Did he really?
He said she's in dental assistant school, and I was like, no, that would have been 6 years ago. So,
my response to her dental was when you got a nice super kick to the face at IWC Wrestling. I asked you if you could do your own dental work.
Yeah.
Because that was a hard one. All right. Let's see what your answer is. Worst or funniest pickup line ever given to you by a guy?
Is this a cow?
Whatever the worst or funniest pickup line would be.
So when my roommate on Zilla we were like on Tinder, and I was like, okay, so let's play with this Tinder gimmick. So one of the first matches I get, the guy is like, so are you familiar with Hogwarts? And I'm like, this is strange. And he's like, I didn't answer. I didn't even answer, like Hogwarts, the witches and the wizards, and I didn't respond. And then he goes, so do you mind if I slither in?
Oh.
Deleted Tinder after that. No, we don't have Tinder anymore. Zilla's like dying.
Can you still watch Harry Potter without being rude?
I try to forget all of that. I don't have Tinder. I don't have Bumble. I don't have any of the dating apps anymore. I've retired from the Tinder.
Oh my God. All right, favorite sports team?
Oh my gosh. The Steelers, the Pirates, the Penguins, the Penn State Nittany Lions.
Wow.
I was just at that game. I was just at the championship game in Indianapolis. That's where I went to undergrad, so that's why I'm a big Penn State fan.
Dream vacation?
So today, when I should have been studying, I spent 2 hours on Airbnb, and you can literally find the coolest Airbnb houses ever. But there's this house on Airbnb where you can stay, I think it's like $335 a night. It's all made of bamboo next to a river, and it's like very tropical, and I think I need to go to the bamboo house.
So that's the bamboo house.
I just discovered it today.
All right, what is Britt Baker's dream date?
Who or where or what? Like, what do you mean? That's a loaded question.
Everything. Set the scene.
Oh.
Bamboo house with who?
The bamboo house. I don't know. I'm surrounded by guys all the time because of wrestling, but none that I would really want to date.
Right. We're a dime a dozen.
No, actually, the first person in wrestling I ever had a crush on was Edge. So I would say me and Edge, but we're gonna respect his family and his relations. We're gonna talk wrestling.
Yeah.
That's gonna be
Anybody outside of wrestling?
Very professional. Outside of wrestling,
like an actor, singer.
Yeah, I don't like get weird crushes like that.
Well, you're just a wall up, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Best Christmas present you ever got? Family ever like
the best Christmas present I ever got. I don't know. I think this is generic, but like everyone, when you get your first cell phone, it's cool because you're like, oh yeah, no, I'm like part of the world.
Worst bump you ever took yet? Most painful. Worst, whatever.
Most painful.
Even if it's in training.
I took a guardrail shot in like via head first at AIW, which was pretty brutal. Alex Daniels' finish is always kind of scary too, and I've taken that a couple of times. It's like a spirit crusher pile driver, which is always fun. You just tuck and pray for a second, but.
Very good. At Britt Baker, make sure you get the Britsburg gear.
You know what, LeBar? You've been a nerd your whole life, and today I'm finally gonna smarten you up, and you can have a Britsburg hat. Finally.
All right. Well, at Britt Baker, make sure you follow her all over social media. She's slaying the social media game. Bonus question: favorite thing about Josh Eisenberg?
He's not here.
Burn! #reality check. Follow us on social media. Happy holidays.
Sorry, Eisenberg.
We'll see you in a couple weeks.